it's hard to get that feedback. So I'd rather have it here in a meeting, so the whole board and management hears it, than get caught in the mailroom for a half an hour. So anyway, thank you for being here. Moving on. Committee reports. I see Todd is back with us, mobile. Thank you, buddy. Hey, you're walking better.
Yeah.
Best he's walking in a long time.
That dude.
Yeah, baby.
He's sprinting.
We kid him a little bit, but he just went through a hip replacement, right?
We have approximately $307,000 in our operating account right now. Enhancement fees are pretty much what they were last month. I didn't get an update from Yolanda, so no update on that. But what we do have, we owe $45,000 for the last thing for the median, the fourth quarter payment. I probably haven't got it yet, but that's on its way to you. And then Scott put in $59,000 for the water conversion that we've got to tee that up and get that paid off. So he gave us an invoice. So, and our next meeting's 20th February, 1:30 here in the ballroom. And Scott, what we need from you is our projection for the median for next year. You can, I know it probably went up a little bit, but we'll see what we can do to fund that. And that's all I got. Unless you have any questions.
Thank you, Todd. I don't see any other committee. Oh, yeah, Mario,
Yes, I'm back.
Hey.
you're back. Tell us where you've been, buddy.
Good afternoon, everybody, and Happy New Year. This is January, so there was not much happening in December. The government's pretty much shut down, so there's hardly any meetings. But I do have a couple of things that I'd like to mention to you in case you're interested. Number one, Amazon has opened an Amazon Fresh Market grocery store at the new Bedford Shopping Center on Foothill. You do not have to be a member of Amazon to shop there, but there are benefits to that. For one of them, you can take your item, scan it on the cart, put it on the cart, and then walk away, and they automatically charge you for it. Or you can stand in line and go to the cashier, and you don't have to be a member, and you can use any credit card available to you. There's a new volunteer sheriff coordinator at the Lake Matthews station. There is a need for sheriff volunteers, not only for patrol duty, but also for clerical work at the office. There's also a Citizens Academy available for training residents who are interested in assisting the sheriff department. Supervisor Karen Spiegel has requested input from all Temescal Valley residents on the Temescal Valley Community Needs Assessment Survey. This is a survey that will help identify community priorities, infrastructure needs, and desired improvements in Temescal Valley. This is for the coming year. The results will play a key role in the study to assess the viability of an independent municipality within the boundaries of the Temescal Valley. The survey will remain open until March of 2025. You can do this on the web, or you can get a printed form at the next MAC meeting, which will be tomorrow, January 8th at 6:30 p.m. at the Terrace Club at Terramore. We invite you to come to the MAC meeting. There's a lot of good information there because all of the county departments will be there, including the sheriff, the fire department, etc., as well as supervisors and senator representatives. And that's all I have. Any questions?
No, I think you did it well. I will say on the TMAC meeting agenda for tomorrow night, the senior tax assessor will be there, not the chief tax assessor, but Chris K. Right? If you have any questions about your tax bill, might be a perfect time to show up. Nice guy. I've had multiple conversations with him. He's very responsive, and but there's a lot of information at the TMAC meetings, and Mario's a very steady, other than me, probably about the only Trilogy resident there. So they have a big impact, and have a lot of information to share. So please attend that too. Thank you, Mario. Okay, that would wipe up our.
For me, this is where I was gonna read this.
right now?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn this over to our general manager. She's gonna read a letter on the volunteer sheriff. Who's the new coordinator there?
I do not have their name, they didn't give me their name, but I'm gonna find
It's
out.
not Heath Nunez, he's left or gone? Sergeant Nunez, okay.
It should be Nunez. Well, unless it's changed.
Well, he said new.
Oh,
He's been there for about 2 years,
oh,
so he could have been rotated. Anyway,
okay.
right, we're talking about the staff at the sheriff's station. We'll find out tomorrow night.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, I'm turning this over to our general manager, Tracy.
So I'm going to add a committee update. It's perfect follow-up to what Mario said regarding the volunteer sheriff's program. So I'd like to take a moment to address the status of the Trilogy Volunteer Sheriff's Committee. The committee was scheduled to be formally dissolved during today's open session board meeting. However, due to an oversight, the item was not included on the agenda. The formal dissolution will take place at next month's meeting in February. This decision to dissolve the committee is not one that we've made lightly. The board has made lightly. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department recently made changes to their volunteer sheriff program and is no longer able to support the Trilogy Volunteer Sheriff Program. Over the past several months, the board of directors, led by Lee Wilson, worked tirelessly to try and keep this program alive. They engaged in numerous phone calls, meetings, and written communications with the Sheriff's Department advocating for the continuation of this partnership. Unfortunately, despite these efforts, the department ultimately decided to move in a different direction. I want to take this opportunity to express our deepest gratitude to the many residents who have participated in this program over the years. Your time, effort, and dedication have been invaluable, and your contributions have had a lasting impact on our community. This program has been a shining example of what makes Trilogy such a special place to live. Neighbors coming together to look out for one another and foster a safe, connected environment. While this chapter is coming to a close, we are committed to continuing to explore new ways to maintain and enhance the safety and security of our community. If anyone has any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to the board or myself, management. Again, once again, I want to sincerely thank all of the volunteers who made this program what it was. Your service and commitment to Trilogy will not be forgotten.
Thank you, Tracy. I will say, we had the most complete list that we had of the individual volunteers. We wrote them an individual letter thanking them for their service, and which was frequently very sacrificial. Going back to Larry Ringa, Bill Hare, Richard Lewis, I'm sure I've missed some, but there was up at one time almost 30 that put about 300 hours a month in patrolling our streets. So we have a big debt of thanks for those individuals over the last 12, 13 years. So anyhow, it was sorrow eternally that program was shut down, but the Sheriff's Department across Riverside County has a viable sheriff volunteer program, and they're doing their best to expand that into every community. And Trilogy was the pilot and the example that the county touted for a long time. Anyway, thank you, Tracy. Now, moving on, we have the general manager report
Oh, well,
by
thank you.
Tracy.
Thank
Tracy
you.
again.
Thank you, Lee. So happy New Year to everybody. Happy to see everybody back and looking forward to a year full of lots of great updates and changes. First, we're going to address staff updates. If you guys haven't noticed, we have a unfamiliar yet familiar face sitting next to me. So John has, as I let everybody know last month, John was promoted to general manager of another FSR community out in Hemet. We wish him the best of luck. While he will be dearly missed, we are so thrilled that our dear friend Aaron has joined the team. So with Aaron coming on board, it has also added to a seamless transition. Not having to retrain, it's made my life much easier, and I'm sincerely blessed to have him back as part of our team. The other thing that we have coming up, you guys will see later on this month, you're going to be receiving a call for candidates. So this year we will have 3 board positions coming available. I'm gonna encourage each one of you to think about, what you can do to serve this community and, applying to be a board member. I am not sure, of our current board members if they are planning on returning as of yet, but those 3 positions will be coming available. Please look out for your call for candidates. It'll have all the voting rules and your, the application if you would like to apply. Another thing that's coming up this month, and the next month, we're in budget season. We are full blown in budget season. We will be setting a budget meeting for, early to mid-February. That will be an open session meeting where we will discuss the proposed budget for the 25-26 year. This entails a lot of work with management and our financial officer, Scott. He's put in tireless hours, working to, iron everything out for next year. So do be on the lookout also for the meeting date that's set for February to attend the budget meeting, so you'll have the information regarding upcoming possible increases to next year's assessments. And that's pretty much all I have now.
Okay, moving on into facilities. Dan, the man.
All right. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year's. So for the month of December, it was kind of light for projects. First up, we had the pickleball court shed. This is a new addition. Basically, is to store the new pickleball machine. Easy access for the pickleball players, right outside the court, and it looks really nice. So that's complete, and it's I believe they are storing additional pickleball items in there. Alex Torres, who is the pickleball club president, he is kind of organizing stuff inside that shed. So that project is complete. Next up is the ballroom banquet chairs. So last month we did get approval to replace these chairs. As you can see, they're amongst you now. You're sitting in them. What the plan is basically to salvage all the good quality ones and relocate those to the Tahoe room and Sequoia room, and then we'll replace these chairs here. So that's currently in progress. And I know you mentioned black cover or black chairs, so color is up in the air. We're still not sure. So I know Mary's working on that to get the best fit for our ballroom here. Next up is the pottery wheels. This was another approved item last month, and still we're waiting for the arrival of the new machines, which they should be here really soon. So I'm excited for that. And so that's still in progress. Oh, yeah, that's the only picture I can find of the proposed one that we're getting. It's a little bit less, it holds less play, but talking to the Pottery Club folks, this will do just fine. Okay, next up was the Pacific Crest Lodge broken window. Typically, this is something we want to fix right away, but for some reason, it was very difficult to get glass vendors out here. The previous glass vendor was no longer available. So we had to start from scratch. We ended up finding an outside company, Avive, and they did a great job. I know I don't have the same picture, but it's the one right in the middle, upper middle. But they are now in Avive, which is good because now if there's another broken window, we can kind of just go straight to them. Since we did bid it out, they were significantly less, and their quality was top notch. So that one is complete. And the last product I have is our avocado slope cleanup. This did take many months. It was at the June board meeting where it was approved. Basically, they went through all the canyons, as you noticed, and removed all the dead and invasive trees to clear up space, give it a fresh palette. And now we're working with the ad hoc committee for getting those replaced. So that is all complete, and now that we have a fresh canvas to work with. So that concludes our community project updates for the month of December.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Moving into operations and lifestyles, I think Cassie's gonna be wearing 2 hats today,
I'm
right?
married today.
You're married, well, and.
You need to
and
scrunch
Kathy
down a
also.
little bit, please.
Okay. First, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. 2025 started off with a cold for me, so clearly 2026 will be my year. The Spa had bubble bath added again last week, and we just want to let everyone know that I have now assigned a staff member on Bubble Watch. We will be monitoring camera footage, so please stay bubble free. Just don't do it. As mentioned in my article, though we are working out some kinks, if you would like to receive text messages with mail status, please send me, Mary, a text or an email with your name and the phone number you would like to enroll in. That will be all for Mary's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Oh, wait,
What,
but don't you,
uh,
you're next.
Now, who's at the podium now?
Hi, everyone, it's me, Cassie. So I hope your year is off to a fantastic start. Now, January is often considered a breather month after the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, but that doesn't mean we're slowing down. We have plenty of exciting events lined up for you to keep the fun going. First up, January 9th, our monthly movie day. We're going to be showing The Good Liar. This is at 1 p.m. right here in the ballroom. So that is a free event. Come and join us. January 14th, we're thrilled to announce our very first Family Feud Day. We do have our 2 teams of 5, but we still need a live studio audience. So if you'd like to sign up for that, we're taking sign-ups in the front desk. This is on January 14th. It'll be at 1 o'clock here in the ball. January 21st, Day Bingo, 1 o'clock here in the ballroom. Tickets are on sale still for this, $2 at the front desk. Wrapping up the month, we do have another hot cocoa night, hopefully with power this time. That'll be on January 31st here in the lounge. This is a free event from 5:30 to 7:30, so just bring your mug and come join us. Then looking ahead, we do have ticket sales for this month. January 13th at 8 a.m. Ticket sales go on sale for our Valentine's Day dinner, which will be on Valentine's Day, February 14th. So this is a sellout event, so be sure to show up that day to get yours. And January 20th at 8 a.m., our ticket sales for our Super Bowl party are going on sale. Super Bowl is on February 9th. These tickets are $5 per person. Come on down, we're gonna have wings, beer, chips, dip, all the fun. And that'll be it. So mark your calendars and grab your tickets. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Thank you, Cassie.
Thank you, Cassie.
Okay. All right, nothing wrong with a little levity, is there? All right, next item is our first open forum. I don't think we have any speaker requests, so we'll move into the consent calendar, and I'll give the mic back to Tracy.
All right, so bear with me. We have a lengthy consent calendar this month, but I will go through listing each item on and then ask for the board's approval. The consent calendar for the month of January 2025 consists of the approval of minutes for the open session minutes dated December 3rd, 2024, committee minutes for design review dated 12/10/24, committee application approval for Elizabeth West to the Landscape Committee. P-card approval for the statements dated November 25th. Proposed investments for January 2025. Breakpoint ratify for the outdoor pool skimmer replacement. Capistrano golf cars ratify for the golf cart support bars change order. Capistrano golf cars ratify for the golf cart rear brakes. Concrete Hazard Solutions ratified, that's for the PCL back patio repairs. Guardian Plumbing ratified for the PCL faucet cartridge replacement. Horizon ratify for the high reach lights change order. We also have Horizon ratify for the parking lot light pole fixtures, 2 of those. Next is the PACE ratify for Saddleback golf cart gate RFID reader. PACE ratify for Saddleback Larkspur exit gate ground loop. Trout Electric ratify for 8663 and 8657 Cuyamaca lights. Trout Electric ratify for the PCL Majeska Lounge outlet. Trout Electric ratify for the Lake Center Tahoe room floor outlets. Amtech ratified for 23761 La Costa. Also, Amtech ratified for 8663 Cuyamaca. Another for 23815 La Posta, followed by 8639 Cuyamaca, 8606 Cuyamaca, 23770 La Posta, 8618 Cuyamaca, 8588 Cuyamaca, 23845 La Posta, 23842 La Posta, 23833 La Posta, 23803 La Posta, 23794 La Posta, 8651 Cuyamaca, 23772 Cahuilla, 23854 La Posta, 23857 La Posta, and, two more, 8744 Cuyamaca, 8909 Cuyamaca, and the last MTIC ratified is for 23817 Cahuilla. Final consent calendar item will be the insurance renewal for 2024-25 for our property insurance. And this includes the financing of this renewal. Does the board have any questions on any of the items that I have listed on the consent calendar for January?
Did you mention value of line?
Mission one?
I think honestly, I think that one was removed and it was reposted on the buildings. That item was removed from the consent calendar, Tony.
Okay, moving into,
So we have to, does the board have any questions or concerns regarding the consent calendar?
No.
Um,
I make a motion that the board approve the consent calendar for January 7, 2025 as presented.
have a second? All right, I'll second.
Why not? Oh, I thought you said
Any other discussion on this?
No.
All right, show of hands. Unanimous, thank you. All right, new business, financial statements and report for November, and that will be Aaron starring now.
Thank you, Lee. I just want to say Happy New Year, everybody. I am happy to be back here with you at Trilogy. I am saying that after a 5.5-hour executive meeting, so I must really mean it. But thank you for the warm welcome, it means a lot. I'll briefly review our financial statements for our year-to-date ending November 30th, 2024. We performed a review of these statements for accuracy and integrity, and statements have been fairly stated and budget variances have been explained. For our summary of reserve funds for our master, our year-to-date balance is $6,213,247. Condo, our year-to-date balance is $1,915,217. And for elevator, we're up $864,520. Our liquidity ratios for our master is 1.7, and we have 0 payables for condo and elevator. Aging and uncollectible HOA over 60-day delinquencies. For master, we have 9 units, condo none, and elevator 1. For our master summary of operations and budget, our actual net income is negative $40,852. That's against a negative $12,166 budget, leaving us a net income or a negative net income of $28,686. For our year-to-date variances, we're going to start with operating revenue. We are using our adjusted variance as the water conversion project. You notice at the top there, that revenue will be washed when the project's completed with the expense side. So our adjusted variance for our operating revenue is positive variance, 57,764. The major contributors there is communications and royalty has a positive variance of 21,581 due to higher royalties received. Events revenue has a positive variance of 20,414 due to successful events with more attendance. and collection revenue has a positive variance of 10,129 due to collection efforts. Moving to the expense side, same thing applies there. We're not going to count the, we're not going to include the water conversion expenses, as that will wash with the revenue. Once the project completes, our adjusted variance is negative 86,450 total for our expenses. Utilities is negative 21,489. That the major contributors there, we had electricity over budget, $13,046 due to the false positives from 2023. And electricity golf course is over budget, $9,474 due to higher than expected bills from the golf course. Landscape, we are under budget, $18,715. The major contributors there are irrigation repairs, and to include the slope irrigation repairs are under budget due to less repairs needed. And then plant replacement, tree replacement, and the plant canyon walk are all under budget, totaling $9,866 due to just less anticipated replacements needed. Swimming pool is over budget, $4,272 due to needed repairs. Spa and fitness is over budget, $9,081 due to Blue Water Sports Club supplies, over budget $8,272 due to increased cost of supplies, and fitness classes over budget due to an increase in class registration. For events, we are under budget, $5,952. That's entirely due to, it's not updated there, I apologize, delayed billing on event supplies. Common area, we are over budget, $17,336. Due to common area facilities, maintenance and repair, and general supplies are over budget due to increased cost of labor and materials. Gate repair contract is over budget by about $5,465 due to an increase in gate repairs. And our solar maintenance, or our solar repair and maintenance is over budget $4,381 due to unforeseen bill for maintenance. And then lastly, our administration expense is over budget $58,939. Largest contributor there is our payroll expense. This is due to timing of the last October pay period. We are going to see that difference. We're going to move some money that we have in December, or January, that we're going to move to December to even that out for that extra pay period.
Allocations for, every once in a while, we have 3 pay periods fall within 1 month. That was allocated to happen in January. It actually happened in the month of October. So we just need to, we have extra in January that needs to be reallocated to last month. So next month, we will not see an overage.
It'll wash, yeah.
Yep.
And then federal tax expense is over budget due to increased revenue due to interest last fiscal year of $10,974. And then insurance is over budget due to the increase in premiums of $8,330. And lastly, our summary of operations and budget for our condos and elevator. For the condos, we have an actual net income of $1,500 versus a negative $16 budget, leaving us a positive variance of $1,516. And for elevator, we are negative $5,276 versus a flat budget, leaving us a negative net income of $5,276. And that concludes our financial report for November.
Welcome back, Aaron.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Can I have a proposal to approve?
I make a proposal to approve the November 2024 financials as presented.
I second it.
Okay. Any other discussion at all? Okay,
No.
show of hands. It's approved. Unanimous. Thank you. All right, moving on. Tennis court security modifications, cameras and/or fencing.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. All right, so I don't know if everybody's aware, we recently got the tennis courts resurfaced, courts 1 and 4, and it wasn't cheap. Well, recently we've had trespassers show up and I'm not sure what's going on, but they are stuffing up the courts. Our porters are, working hard to clean it, but again, we are having trespassers, so basically what we're trying to do is enhance the security of our tennis courts. So here's a little sample of what has been happening. This was the first instance. We think people got up there and after hours and just either skated or did something and kind of scuffed up our courts. Basically what we're trying to do right now, court 1 and court 4 seem to be the most sought after courts for these trespassers due to tennis court 1, obviously, because they have a short fence, you can just hop right over it. Tennis court 4, they seem to get into as well. I think they can, that's an easy way to climb over. We do keep courts 2, 3, and 4 locked. They have a tall fence in the gate, and we can keep them locked, no problem. But court 1 is kind of just open and easily available for trespassers. So management, we basically met with some fencing contractors and also our camera vendor. Our camera vendor here, who has our cameras here, just to get an idea of what can we do to better enhance the security of our tennis courts. We just put in a lot of money, and we want to protect this asset, as we do of all of our assets, right? So basically, here's what tennis court 1 looks like. If you can kind of see, it's got some tall fencing and then it drops down to a very low fencing. So it's kind of no point in locking it up because you can just hop right over. So I met with a few different fencing companies, just to kind of raise up the fence, get a cost to raise the fence up to match the other courts. That way we can lock it. And also I met with our camera vendor to see what we could do. So going with that, I want to talk about the cameras. So the camera system we have in place here at our clubhouses, it all runs off of a DVR, which is at each of our locations. Each of our clubhouses has a DVR specific to that building, and it records footage for, at least 90 days. We can go back and review footage. So the good thing about this camera system and working back with our current camera vendor is we can link this to the DVR Blue Water. So in this photo, it's showing where it's gonna branch off because we can't, it wouldn't make sense to run wire and hardwire this camera. So what we would do is we would put an antenna at the very back of the the Blue Water Sports Club, which would communicate over to the tennis courts. And here's the tennis court camera proposed locations. Basically, 2 cameras on court 1 and 2 cameras on court 2. And the reason being is there's existing power for 1. So we would run from the existing outlet that's always hot, it's always running. And we could power the cameras with that. And then here's the views that we would get. So cameras 1 and 2 for court 1 would kind of get you this view, right? So it'd basically be something like this. You can view the court itself and also this area here. The other cameras at court 2, cameras 3 and 4, would get all of the pathways. So basically, you would get this view, the pathway leading up to pickleball court 2, and also the pathway leading up to pickleball court 4. So it covers all areas. The greatest part about this system is not just their cameras, and not that we can just monitor them like we do our other cameras. These come with their specific security camera. So basically, it has technology where it can read a person. So if a person is walking up and it detects a person, it'll alert the camera. So actually, let me backtrack. We will set up these alarms for after hours. So once the courts are closed to residents, then those cameras would be activated. And if it detects a person, those cameras would blink red and blue lights, and also deliver a message, a verbal message like, hey, you're trespassing. If that doesn't deter enough, it's recording them. And also, it can actually send me an alert, because I have the app. It can send me an alert. I can view the cameras right there in real time, and I can call a security officer, I can call the sheriff's department. So I think this is a really great deterrent, as opposed to just raising the fence. Because another instance, I guess this past weekend, some more hooligans got in here and they scuffed up court 4. That court's locked. So they must have climbed up. If you're familiar with the court, you can go on the outskirts and in the landscape and just hop right over the fence, which is probably what happened. But if we had these cameras like this view here, it would have caught the perpetrators. So I think this is kind of our best route to go, at least for right now, to enhance the security of our tennis courts. So my proposed resolution for our board is to approve the proposal by Phoenix Security Solutions to install cameras at the tennis and pickleball courts at a cost not to exceed $7,952.16 to the expense from Master Reserve Account GL number TR23063 Electronics Reserve, and for the board to approve a $300 contingency for any unforeseen circumstances that may arise during this project.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board on this?
No.
I'll move that the board approves proposed by Phoenix Security for $7,952.16 to be expensed from the Master Reserve Account GL TR 23063 Electronics Reserve.
Second.
Okay. What now?
And
Oh,
also,
plus the contingency for the $300.
second again.
Second again. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Dennis?
No,
No, oh, you're voting.
I'm ahead of you.
Show of hands.
I'm ahead of you.
Scott, there you go.
Okay,
Thank you.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dan, I
Yes,
just
sir.
have a follow-up though. I think it's important to note that there's been multiple times that this has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, not one or two, but I think 4 or 5, something like that over the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And we got to stop them now before they do really, really substantial damage to those courts, and then it'll be really expensive to fix those.
Yeah, definitely.
The last incident, I went up and looked at it. It was up on Court 4. It was pretty substantial. They couldn't even power wash the scuff stuff off of it, so it's getting pretty serious right now. So this is a great fix, I think.
Yeah, I want to say, I could be wrong, but does Mary have footage, or she might have some sort of footage of the possible perpetrators?
And I think it's also good to know that the police report has been filed, and they're making every attempt to try to figure out who these guys are. I think they're young guys. I mean, kids kind of, but still,
Coming from the golf course?
it's not impossible that they could come from, what is it?
Comes right there.
Yeah, so it's not impossible that could be happening too. So, but these cameras will catch that side of it also. So it's a pretty good solution, I think.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good solution, honestly.
Yeah, and in discussions with the sheriff's department, we will prosecute. That's important for them to know. So it's just a matter of trying to identify them, or get enough information so the sheriffs can identify them, and we'll pursue that. We're going to try to teach them to respect it. So we're doing all we can, but it hasn't been an easy matter. Okay, moving on.
Okay, moving on, pretty much kind of piggybacking off of this, the Pacific Crest Lodge back patio cameras. So this back patio you guys see out here is unmonitored. We do have a camera over on the outside door of the billiards room. And as you know, if you look at this little drawing, it has a curve down at the bottom. It only captures so much. So when we have our large events here, when they utilize the back patio, it's unmonitored. It could be residents, it could be non-residents. In my opinion, it's important to capture because we do have caterers out there, and damage could occur, an injury can occur, and liability-wise, we should have this area unmonitored. So when the camera vendor was here for the tennis court cameras, we also looked back here, and basically what we're looking to do, because of the way it's designed and the layout, we would need 2 additional cameras to capture all of the back patio. So because it was in the same proposal, we labeled it 5 and 6 in addition to the 4 cameras at the tennis court. So camera 5, which would be basically at the back corner here, would capture this area. And the cool part is we've already got the camera system upgraded last year to a hybrid DVR, which means we currently have cameras that are using coax cable, but the new cameras that we add will use Cat5 cabling and be 4K quality cameras. So the camera quality is going to be really good, and it would just link up to our system. It's just another camera on our app that we can monitor. So this would be able to be captured in that, and then the other camera would be basically. It'd be a little bit more work. What they want to do is, rather than ripping up the stucco, kind of run some conduit on the outside if you guys see the back, the patio, that large beam that goes across, we would run, the line on the outside, so we wouldn't see it. And it would pop out at the very end of the corner of our, patio cover and kind of monitor this area. Because where it ends here, that's where the other camera that's already in place picks up. So from the billiards room, it'll pick up to where this blind spot is at. And these two additional cameras would basically capture all the areas, so. My proposed resolution for the board is, to approve the proposal by Phoenix Security Solutions to install 2 cameras at the back patio of the Pacific Crest Lodge at a cost not to exceed $2,715.79 to be expensed from Master Reserve Account GL number TR23063 Electronics Reserve. And I also wanted to add, the high cost is really due to the running the cabling and the wiring and conduits. It's quite a task. And going back to the previous tennis court, camera tennis one, Phoenix Security does offer a 3-year parts and warranty, parts and labor warranty. Just to throw that out.
Dan, were you going to add the?
Yes, sorry, I should have turned the page. Let me go back, I'm sorry guys, I'm all over the place today. For the board to approve Phoenix Security Solutions to install 2 cameras at the back patio of the PCL at a cost not to exceed $2,715.79, and for the board to approve a $300 contingency for any unforeseen circumstances.
Any questions from the board?
I'm making
Okay, I still move. Do I have a second?
second.
Okay. And that includes the $300
Is that 10%?
contingency. Show of hands. It's unanimous.
Thanks, guys. My last project of the day is going to be the Blue Water Sports Club interior entrance paint. So we recently had an HVAC issue where it was leaking through the ceiling and caused some drywall damage. We had that repaired and we did some touch-up paint. And if you can see here, that's the paint that was supposed to be there, and the paint is just severely faded. So what we're thinking is we want to give it a fresh look. It's a premier clubhouse. It's the entrance. It's once you walk in there, that's the first thing you're going to notice. So we met with a few paint vendors to get some quotes to paint basically from when you enter into the building, all the walls, not including the ceiling, but the walls, that all the way up until the staircase wall. So that staircase wall is included, and then the wall that leads to the hall, right before you turn to the hallway, and everything in between. So all the walls, they would have to take everything off the walls. We requested them to come after hours. I know the Blue Water closes at 8 o'clock most nights. To come after hours to not disrupt, the operations there. And so we got a few quotes, and the funny thing was, these are all vendors I've used in the past, and the quotes were so different, and this all the same scope. I met with all of them, and so this one is kind of a no-brainer, which one I am proposing to go with, and I have used them in the past. They do great work. So my proposed resolution is for the board to approve the proposal by Painting Unlimited to paint the interior entrance area of the Blue Water Sports Club at a cost not to exceed $2,800 to be expensed from Master Reserve Account GL 23001 Paint Reserve, and for the board to approve a $300 contingency for any unforeseen circumstances.
Okay, any questions from the board?
No.
Okay. After that, also move on Dan's proposal. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, show of hands.
Mike.
And credit Dennis, he had his hand up before.
Oh, are we going with?
It doesn't. Mike.
Paper, rock, scissors, let's go.
Okay. All right, thank you, Dan. Okay. That completes that.
Yeah.
Let's go on into reports and, you want to cover
All right.
that, Kristen?
So the reports that we have presented for the board to review and file for this month will be the O'Connell Landscape Report, the Management Landscape Report, and unfortunately Sierra Pacific did not include a report to be reviewed by the board this month. Board acknowledgement that they have reviewed and we will file these reports.
Thank you.
Yes?
Okay.
All right, now we're done with the status of the water conversion. I'm happy to report that phase 2 is very close to completion. We put a hold on it for a couple of days. We hope to have that done within the next 2 weeks. So we can go to the water board and request a reimbursement for that portion of the project. But on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, the engineer from WeatherTrack, and that's our control system for all our irrigation, will be on site doing some software upgrading and learning through the system for phase 1. And as we have taxed that controller up there, we found some deficiencies in how it was delivering water to the slope. So we hope to have that worked out on Thursday, and we'll take the information from that update down into phase 2 and start to incorporate that into that controller. And virtually all we need to do for phase 2, and that's the one that runs from virtually almost, well, actually from the entrance into the condos across Cuyamaca entryway, up 1,900 feet to Larkspur, crosses Larkspur, goes across the entryway, along the entryway, then crosses Majeska, goes up the curb to the controller. We have to make a connection at the controller, maybe 15, 20 feet, pull the backflow preventer, make that connection to the controller and to the irrigation, and then set the filter and make the final few connections down just south of the golf course at hole 13. So that we hope to get done in the next 2 weeks max and bring that online. We'll have the district pull the meter. So we'll be complete with phase 1, phase 2. And if you've driven along Falcon between the condos and down into Majeska, they are up there working intensely on all the connections up there. So we're totally done with phase 1. 90, I'm going to say, they claim 99. I'm going to say 92, 93% done with phase 2, with a target date of 2 weeks from now to have that done, passing ag water to our slopes and common area. And then we'll do all we can to complete phase 3 by early to mid-March. So that's nice, because I'm really concerned, and I'm going to update at the water board on the 28th. We've had no rain this year. I'll back that up. We had 0.05 inches in my backyard in cold water, but enough, maybe a few times to get the ground in the streets looking wet, but virtually no rain. So very likely we're going to be facing another drought situation this coming summer, unless God blesses us with a lot of rain in the next couple of months. So we can hope and pray for that. But if that's the case, we will be off of potable and not face that, destructive fact that we have for the last 2 droughts of having the potable water turned off on all our common area, and that would have been destructive. So hopefully we'll get that done. I know my wife hopes she pray for that, so I won't be spending half of my time every day working on that. So anyway, that's where we are. I saw a hand go up.
Yes, you said you have some issues with the controller.
Pardon?
You have issues with the controllers?
Yeah, it had we needed a new control board in the controller with a module, and that had to be programmed and a software update loaded to the system. So we hope to accomplish that on Thursday at 9 o'clock.
My concern right now is around Saddleback on Trinity Park with slope.
Yes?
The water I caught it at 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and I think it stopped. And at 7 o'clock this morning, it's still water. And it's fluctuating all day.
And
It's still going right now.
Okay, is that going into the street or on the slope?
No, it's-
On the down slope?
it's, behind our house, we've got about a 25-foot slope.
Yeah.
We just got one off the top. And then it
Right.
opens up bigger.
Okay, I think I can picture that area. I would say, first of all, at 9 o'clock this morning, you should have called the office.
Well, I don't know if it went all night. I think it stopped, it turned off.
Well, I mean,
Last night.
it's a little hard for me to do something at 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
But yeah, as soon as any resident, when you see an issue like that, and honestly, we can't be everywhere all the time.
Well, I just
You
didn't
know,
know how.
we need the eyes to help.
I don't know the water schedule. If they're gonna water for, the night before, they water like 3 hours at a time.
Well, that never, no section of our landscape should ever run for 3 hours.
No, avocados.
Oh,
These are avocado trees.
okay. Well,
I know they run-
okay, that's not part, for good or bad, that's not part of the conversion. That was the existing ag water system for Corral, Noble, Coldwater, and Saddleback. So that's not affected to what we're doing in Majeska and Cobblestone. But Dan, can you make a note of that and make sure we're on top of that?
So in the future, moving forward, if you do have a concern and you feel that there is excessive watering, or you feel that, you know, it hasn't turned off, feel free to go ahead and call up to Lake Center, let Kenna know.
Yeah, I've done that before.
yeah, and
About
she
2 years
can-
ago, it was on all night.
Yeah,
Water
and,
started coming down.
right, and at that point, we can verify if it's outside the normal watering schedule, or, you know, report it to Sierra Pacific to deal with it.
Did you get the schedule or the water schedule from them?
Yeah, we can actually take care of that for you.
I'll give you an email.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know, and then,
I've been writing it down for time to see.
yeah, no, I can,
But they changed the water schedule because I did before, the water certain times.
so right now with the controlling issues, although it is with 29 that we're focusing on, there have been a few changes throughout all of the controllers. So it's changed a little bit right now. We are in the process of getting that back on track to the normal schedule. But that would most likely explain the issue on why all of a sudden a different schedule for this week. It's a little off right now. So, but it's
Well,
a
yeah,
process.
But there, he had a couple of concerns. Yeah. Maybe the times are different,
Yes.
but excessive length of time in one or two areas. So we'll look at both of those.
It's getting so, but it's not all the way, it's getting close to our.
Right.
Our fence. It's when it starts sloping through but it hasn't done that yet. So I
Right.
don't know.
So what street are you on in Saddleback?
Water grass. It goes up, turns. Yeah, water, it turns up and goes normal. The slope, it's that slope going down. It's a distance to our house, slope gets short, smaller and smaller. And up there, they've got like 3 or 4 rows.
Okay. We'll be on top of that. First thing in the morning.
Any idea what the avocado production will be this year?
Thanks, Todd. We do have.
Be in physical therapy.
Yeah. So it is unknown right now. Obviously, we're not anticipating a large crop this year. At one point, they had said, you're not gonna have anything. That's not the case. There are avocados on the tree. We will have some crop, unfortunately, with the cost for picking, harvesting on top of what we get for the avocados. It would be premature to throw out a number. It will be, probably under 5,000 for sure. If that's what we're looking at. So it's definitely, we will not meet what we budgeted for.
My understanding was Sierra Pacific came in and said our crop would be robust, right? They've been here what now for?
They've been here for a year as of September. We are looking at the unfulfilled promises and analyzing, what changes we can make.
Siggy?
I have a question about the alarm system you have for the tennis courts. For one, I think our security must not be doing a good job. But when the alarm comes off, why doesn't it go directly to the security guy instead of you?
Yeah, it's only because the cameras work off of the app and they don't have,
Well,
they
you
don't
have
have the
an
app.
What's wrong with that?
I have the app, the security doesn't have the app, it's basically the cameras for our clubhouses. They have no use for that. When they're here, basically the only people that are here it's after hours, so it's either gonna be our cleaning crew or bad guys, so. But they patrol, so our security team is to patrol and report. They do make their rounds, but they're not gonna be constantly at the tennis courts, so they show up.
If they have an alarm, they have a car and can get there.
True, but the only notification goes through the app.
You
So,
must do that.
well,
So
then, yeah, then they would have to have access to our cameras. That's, I mean, something if the board wants to
let me
do.
chime in. So
Yeah.
Ziggy, the app that he's referring to is Olive Management has this app, and it is to every camera throughout our facilities. We're not looking to give security access 24/7 to every camera here. So with the app being able to notify us as soon as there's activity, that immediately, and unfortunately, that's our job as management. You know, we get calls in the middle of the night from the fire alarm, from whoever. That's just unfortunately,
On
part of the
Christmas
job.
Eve at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I called Lee
I was
from,
out there
I
for 3.5 hours.
I called Lee from Portland, Oregon to let him know we had a leak. So, unfortunately, that is just part of the job with management. We accept that responsibility. If by notifying us with the cameras, it not only allows us to reach out to security, but we also file a police report so that we're getting two people on this. We need to report any illegal activity to the sheriff's department so that they're notified and can process this if they can catch anyone, and also get security out there to see if they can catch the perpetrator before they leave.
And to touch base on our security company, from what we can tell from the cameras we have and some visual observation coming or going, they've been gaining entrance before our security company is even on
That
the
is
call.
true.
Okay, they run 365 days a year from 10 o'clock at night until 6 a.m. We think these kids are coming in here before that.
Yeah.
I mean, people that want to break the law can figure out a way to bypass things. So this will forestall that. During the summer, we'd have people up there probably playing till dark, and that pushes 9 o'clock. Well, right now it's dark at 6. So the camera will help backfill that, but the security company, the first thing they do is they walk the buildings. If we have a young lady that needs to be, working staff, they'll escort her to our automobile. And also they walk the pool, they walk tennis courts, and make sure that those are secure and quiet. But we have not been lucky enough to catch it. If we do, it'll be reported. Well, if it does, they have instructions to call the sheriffs and report trespassing and vandalism. So hopefully, depends on what the sheriff's department is doing at the time, they might be out here, but that is slim, a slim chance that they catch them. But if we have them on camera, we can identify a vehicle, the sheriffs will investigate, but, it's not a harm to an individual, it's not a burglary, not an armed robbery. So we'll do all we can, but I can say, from my involvement with, We Are Temescal Valley, TMAC, and other associations in the valley, we are the envy because we have an enclosed mail room. Mailbox theft from one end of this valley to the other is rampant. Okay, they come in, drop the lock. Here's a bank of mailboxes on the street. They'll clean them out in minutes. And sometimes they've even cut the pedestals off of the sidewalk and take the whole pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't had that. So we do all we can, believe me. Yeah, did you have something?
I was going to follow up with Dan. Now that you have an approval, did they give you an estimate once they get the approval to put in the cameras, install them? How quickly?
Yeah, because I told him this is a top priority for us, and he says once they get the deposit, it should be a matter of like 3 days
Ah.
before they can get to work, so.
That'd be great, yeah.
Should be real quick.
Okay. Tony,
So,
we're a little lax here because really, according to our rules of conduct, they have no speaker cards. But it's not that we have 500 people that I need to manage in the audience, but yes.
I appreciate it. I have a couple comments I'd like to make. The first one is, on New Year's Eve, my wife and I went to, I'll make this roll back. I went to a reunion with my wife, and on the way home, we picked up the mail about 7 p.m. And I told my wife, well, good luck to us finding a mail slot parking. Well, I was pleasantly surprised to see 3 pylons on each of our mail parking spots, and that kind of monitoring, reminding people this is just a mail pickup. So I think management should be commended for being proactive so that that doesn't happen. Before it happened, that we kind of combining parking at the park across on the second parking lot, to get your mail that was taken, and so kudos to management for being proactive. I think you made a lot of business counts. My second comment is, we're talking about cameras. What's the status on cameras for the canyon gates? I know 6 months ago, the board was talking about it, looking into it to see if it's viable. So I'm recommending some feedback on that. My final comment is, what's the status on the landscape manager? Joe left, so is there any new landscape manager in place now for Connell?
Well, I'll jump in here and Tracy can add. We had a kickoff meeting yesterday with the new Joe. His name is David Contreras. He's a longtime O'Connell employee. He has worked in Shady Canyon for them in Irvine, which is a very, very upscale community, multi-million-dollar homes for the most part. It also abuts a golf course, Strawberry Farms, and he has wanted for years not to have to make that commute. So, and he was going opposite, into traffic both times. So this will give him about 2 hours of his life back. He started yesterday. There's a transition period where he'll be training his replacement there, and he'll be here full-time on February 1st. I met with him, several of us did. His boss, Robert, who's covered for Joe for the last month, and Connell's vice president of operations was there. So I think we're very lucky to have him. He's a very personable person. He's very familiar with not only, O'Connell, so we don't have to break him in. We'll need to get him ramped up on our community. Had a meeting with him over at the golf course to get him ingrained there and how they interact and use the maintenance yard. I was very impressed with his attitude. Gave him a short tour of the golf course and then a partial tour of our community. He's very astute and he notices things. He said, Lee, pointed out a few things as we were driving around. So we'll work with him. We laid out, his point of contact is Tracy. We let him know that we have 1,317 residents that could engage with him in their front yards, but he's used to that. And like I told him, I said, I engage with residents all the time. Okay, I normally will tell them, number one, I'm only one of 5 board members. I don't control everything. Please go to the office. And like I've had conversations with some of you, please come to board meetings. So thank you again for being here. But most of the people that we engage with, they rather complain, but they don't show up. They don't want to be part of the process. But I think David will be a refreshing part of our community. And I think as he gets engaged and ramped up, we'll be very pleased with his performance.
Good.
So, Chuck.
These new cameras you're installing, I assume their date and time stamp? so you can catch perpetrators?
Yes.
Yes, yeah. They plug into, a lot of the systems out here that we use right now, but the ones up at the tennis and pickleball courts will be timestamped, yeah. And plus, staff they'll be woken up if it's in the middle of the night. And they're activated at nighttime, they won't be activated during the day.
You suppose it's the same person putting soap in the.
No.
You never know.
So,
Okay.
to answer the second part to Tony's question regarding.
I was just moving. No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
To tie into that camera question, and Tony, yours, the changes we're making to the camera system that were approved today, we have an existing camera system here in the facilities that is a reserve item. In other words, we have money in savings to manage that system. These cameras will be added through the reserve item with no financial impact to our operating budget. That's the money that your assessments cover the reserves too. But the operating budget is funded 100% by your assessments, and that, basically has a huge impact to how much your assessments are. If we were to go ahead as much as we want, and we've talked about this immensely with the board, as much as the board, the community management would love to see gates at cameras at each of the gates. If we were to purchase cameras to put at the gates, that's a new investment. That's not an existing amenity that we have. It cannot be applied to reserve. Reserve is for the maintenance of the existing amenities. If we were to add in the cameras at the gate, that is a cost that would go completely out of our operating budget. That's a big hit, and it would be a significant impact to next year's budget, resulting in a several dollar a month increase for every resident. At this time, the board has chosen not to pursue it. We're going to wait until next year, next budget season. It would provide too much of an impact to the upcoming budget. So it's going to be placed on hold, and we will revisit that for next year's budget. So that's where we stand with gate cameras.
Why, we see a value to having those cameras.
Absolutely.
But we have to do, a cost efficiency and effectiveness. We thought there were there are other things that we could spend money on better. The sheriff's department has, patrols the area. They also have throughout the valley an extensive flock camera, license plate reading camera system that they have instant access to. So we're not totally unprotected.
No, I understand what you're saying. You just give us, that's something will be done, but I'm perfectly understanding that.
It's not going to go away. It's just going to be delayed just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so last time I asked 3 months
Right.
ago,
Yeah.
it's being evaluated.
Yeah.
I'm just curious that evaluation has to be sometime. The answer is good. It's in the future, it could be done. Because, just like the cameras throughout, there's bad people out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been discussed over the years, and every time it's discussed, there's another reason that we don't want to do it. When the first time, I think it was, people would be invaded with privacy and things like that. Then they were going to be ugly looking when they had them up there. And now we can't afford it, so.
Well, cost has always been an issue, but you're right. The first time I heard it mentioned, and I was sitting out there in the audience with you, one resident raised their hand, and I said, I view that as an invasion of privacy. And at that time, one of the board members said, ma'am, I don't think your mother is going to monitor you and be worried if you're coming home at midnight. But anyway, it has been actively discussed, and
it's not a cheap project either. We've actually got pricing. It's pretty substantial. It's a brand new system, so it's not like adding a camera to an existing system. It's
Creating a new system.
Yeah, and it's not cheap.
One of the things about it is that I get the sense that we have a false sense of security. that, we haven't had anything go wrong. And we look around to Corona and places like that, and there's a lot of things going on, but we don't have that. And the false sense of security just says, one of these days, they catch up with us.
It's true, and we've had some incidences. I will say this, once we added flashing lights to the security card at night, we have not had one report. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. We have not had one report of a car being broken into, and that usually was, oh, I forgot to lock it, and so it was pilfered. We haven't had one. So that has helped. Visibility is a deterrent, and there's several here on the board that, through our own security cameras, monitor the patrol. And if they're not going by our home, we're making sure that they do, to make sure they're going by your home. And they also patrol outside the whole perimeter of the trilogy that they can. And we work with the sheriff's department to make sure that they're making their patrols too. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So we may ask Paul.
I have one more question, and Tony, you've had your share again, but can you make it quick? No, Chuck.
So,
I was told no.
Follow-up question. Will for the parking, for the middle parking slots, is that going to be an ongoing thing where you put the pylons there to make the residents aware not to park there? I saw some newsletter, notices saying that do not park there, but those pylons are discouraging residents from parking there.
So
I think you're talking about during an event, right?
yes, so
Maybe, I'm not sure that we'll have staff enough to do some of those things.
but at least put the pylons there would be, or maybe it's our own notice that please do not park here. Event parking not allowed.
So Mary has been very, very proactive in developing a new plan to attack this issue. She is working with the staff to initiate new procedures to ensure that those spaces remain open. Yes, it will continue moving forward. Yeah.
Since we have the last message from the floor, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Ooh.
And please, and Chuck, if you have a question, come up. We'll do it one-on-one. But thank you for coming, and please come next month and bring 10 friends.
I have a question though.
Chairman, I signed, to speak, and we didn't get called to get up there to speak, we're just freelancing back here.
Where's
We have no cards up here.
where's your speaker card? Who did you give your speaker card to?
Signed up after what else I need.
The,
Need to bring it in.
so you have
You
to,
can bring it in the room.
your
Well,
speaker,
no, it's a master there, we had 4 or 5 other names on
that's
No,
just a
that's a
sign-in
sign-in
list.
sheet.
That's
Those
a
aren't
registration.
it. Yes, what?
That's a sign-in sheet. It's not the speaker cards. The speaker card is the same for every paper.
Is there anything that you would like to discuss?
Yeah, I would, really, yeah.
Okay.
Back in December, I sent an email to Mary on a couple issues. One of them was the lights, facilities, Christmas lights. Okay, all three facilities, Christmas lights. When I work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, those lights are still on. So to investigate it is they come on at dawn, go off, and come on at dusk, go off at dawn every day, I guess for about 30 days, 32 days. We got told from an email that we have to turn off our holiday lights at 11 o'clock at night. I would think the facility should go off at 11 o'clock at night also. Her response, and she responded in 24 hours. Her response was that these are lights, LED, which we use very little energy. They connect to a photo cell. System turn on automatically, on and off at dusk. But blue water, they should be around 6:45 to 7 o'clock. So she did address that. But to me, it's a loss, like you did some quick math, it's a loss of about 225, 250 hours of lights for those 3 facilities. That's gonna be pretty expensive, a lot of light usage, even though we have, so I have solar at home too. So I know we've had 2 consecutive increase at HOA, and there's a potential
third this coming, finances also. So cost control is an important part of adding on to HOA costs. So what I would ask from this group, that we look into that, you know, if it's an audit, if it's photo cell, you can set those times any you want. It should go off at 11 o'clock at night.
Well, here's part of the issue. We're plugging into a system for common area, landscape, not only that, but security lighting. We can't have a separate time. Security lighting is totally different, and that's the systems, for the most part, where we're plugging this into. So if we have to put a separate sub-controller in, that's gonna probably far exceed whatever minuscule electricity that these small lights do. But I will say, I did announce at the first of this meeting that if you wanted to speak, you need to fill out and submit a speaker card.
Very good. I thought it was doing that.
Okay.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Okay.
But to me, you know, I don't think that's gonna be minuscule. I don't know how to measure the lighting with LTE and everything else, but that many amount of hours on the 3 very big facilities, it's gotta be more than small. And we need, I would ask the group to look into that. And also the pickleball court, those lights are on some mornings when I go to work out at 6 a.m. I talked to Cassie about that, and it looked like it was better. I noticed last week, one morning, the lights were still on too. I don't know when those they came on, but they were still on at 6. They went off about 7 o'clock in the morning. So thank you.
That's a timer, and I'm actually having to come out tomorrow to look at that. 'Cause
That's
we
a
got
timer
stuff
issue
staying
on the court.
So that's.
They're fixing it.
Court one.
Yeah.
And just for the record, hun, can I get your name?
Dick Spezzano,
Okay.
Spezzano.
I was just reminded, we do have a timer switch that is not functioning up there. We addressed that at the executive session, and we're going to get that corrected as quickly as we can.
Yeah, it's on schedule tomorrow,
That
actually.
probably
It
kept the light on.
stuck and
I did
wouldn't turn
suggest
off.
at the same time, if that's the case, we put a time clock in there too, so we can manually control that.
But it's good you let us know that stuff, so that we're aware of it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're officially, again, meeting adjourned. Thanks for everybody being here.
We haven't signed. We haven't signed.
Whoever's lucky enough.
420. Is that what we're doing, 420 now?
Oh, I guess so. The adjourn. Yeah.
You guys were very well.
I know.
Okay,
what's your address?
He hasn't changed their
We can divide and conquer however you guys want, but I've got one for our executives and the rest are
Yeah.
money to be paid.
2 signatures?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start. Yeah, I don't know
Typing
if
the
they
date on it
changed
for you guys.
it.
Everybody else, you know?
Because it's been working back there.
I can fill out date if you just want to
With
sign.
him talking about the new programming and the new
What else?
controller that on Thursday they're coming out to address. This past week, we had an issue where all of the programming, all of our programming somehow got switched and is only watering in evenings instead of during the day. And I'm not understanding all of it, but they are working on fixing it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this falls into that, you know, and you would be seeing it at different times right now, but it is in the process of being resolved.
It was like at 3 o'clock. And it's different
Than what normally.
yeah, months ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and I think it stopped at 9 o'clock at night. And then this morning it went.
John left me.
Well, I think
It
it
might have
stopped
been
at 9.
intermittently, yeah.
But it's all fluctuating.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I do know, I have a text that I received today from our landscaping guy, and that was,
Good to pay all this stuff.
no, he's saying, please disregard. They were able to get it, but he was addressing that there were issues with the controller between 10 and 6
I
a.m.
was
So,
gonna talk to you, but since he brought up about controllers, I went.
yeah,
Yeah, don't bring it up. I went, well, maybe it's what the controller. You can give her your email
Yeah,
address.
you wanna, yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. No, it's fine.
Honestly, is it the one that we have on file? Because I can use your address and I can look it up for you guys.
But yeah, I think it was about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. one time. It ran the whole night.
Yeah.
And-
If I need
But
those
that-
later, I'll have you do it.
Okay, but that's before it was under control.
Oh, yeah, this is
Oh,
They-
oh,
they
when
used to do it
Laura was doing
manually.
it manually, yeah.
And it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I came and I, they said, okay, I'm gonna email them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 2 hours later, I came back, isn't it turned off yet? No?
If you ever notice anything that you think is out of the normal, not, out of the ordinary, don't hesitate to give us a call. We can double check it, a quick call to Sierra and they'll go, oh, no, we weren't doing this. Or,
I'm trying to
If I
get out
gotta
one,
know the
Scott.
schedule,
Yeah,
if I
don't got
gotta
stuff
write it
going.
down, so
Well,
I
I
have
will-
an
I
idea.
see your game.
You don't know. He said, yeah.
Right.
And it's like, okay,
So I
it is
will-
a drip system, pretty much. It's
Yeah.
not-
I will research your area to find out what days and hours you guys are being watered and then, we'll email that back to you for the.
Hopefully it's shut off by now.
You don't have to come in.
I appreciate it,
That
guys.
makes sense that the controllers.
Where's your 10
Yeah,
friends you
we have an issue right now, so
Okay.
we're working with it.
All
right,
thank
yeah.
you.
Honestly, thanks for coming in.
What are you doing here, Frost?
He's saying the same thing.
Tomorrow night, when I chair the TMAC board, I'm the chair of that, I have a list of rules mandated that I read every meeting by the supervisor's office. They run a strange show. I mean, I would have had to cut Tony at the meetings.
Yeah.
You ask your question, that's it.
That's it.
You don't let anybody dominate your meeting.
Yeah, the conversation. Yeah, you guys say it usually at the beginning, you're gonna have 5 minutes to start.
One more?